A Wyoming state trooper caught an illegal immigrant traveling through Wyoming with 18,000 rounds of rifle ammunition. Charged on Friday with being an illegal alien in possession of ammunition, Ricardo Paez Quinones could face up to 15 years in prison and a $250,000 fine and/or deportation if convicted.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the show. I had to get up on comms as quick as possible this morning because I found out about this late last night, thanks to my patrons on my Patreon, which I'll link down below. March 14th, a little over a week prior to this happening, which, as a reminder, if you haven't watched the video, 2 illegal immigrants flew into Denver, Colorado from Mexico to buy a van in Utah and pick up 180,000 rounds of what we think is a combination between 7.62 by 51 or 308 caliber rifle ammunition and about 30,000 rounds, we speculate, based on the news reporting, that likely was 30 boxes, 30,000 rounds of 7.62 by 39, which is AK ammo. They get rolled up in Cannon City, which is very significant because it's in proximity to something related to the cartel. Thanks to my buddy KJ for reaching out this morning. But before we get into that, a week prior, on March 14th in Rawlins, Wyoming. If you've never been through Rawlins, Wyoming, it's because you probably blinked. Small town along the main highway, running west to east, was this particular driver who got pulled over at a TA gas station, a truck stop. Now, we know he was going west to east because he just came out of Utah. And guess what happened in Utah? He bought 18,000 rounds of what they're calling high-powered rifle ammunition. He purchased this ammunition in Utah. He's driving through Rawlins, Wyoming, and he's caught speeding. He gets pulled over. He's in a gas station. The officer says, "Hey, what do you got going on?" He looks in the back and sees boxes of ammo and asks what the ammo is for. And he said it's because he's taking his girlfriend to target practice. Now, let's take a look real quickly where Rawlins, Wyoming is at. Pulling it up on a map, you got Rawlins, which is west of Sinclair, and it's a small town, and we got to find the TA gas station. So let's look that up. So the old TA Travel Center. Okay, that's where he was pulled. Now I want you to take a look at proximity to Wyoming and Utah, where I'm located at in the little blue dot, and then driving through and where it connects to. That's right. If you go through Cheyenne and you go south, you'll head straight through Denver, straight through Colorado Springs and Fort Carson, down to Pueblo, Colorado. And why is that relevant? That's on the same path en route as the destination where in Cannon City, west of Pueblo, Colorado, the 2 illegals who came in said they were headed to Pueblo, Colorado to drop off this ammunition. In this particular case in Wyoming, this guy's got 18,000 rounds of ammunition, doesn't speak any English. He's actually been deported twice. And according to the news report, he was going 89 in a 75-mile-an-hour zone. The affidavit says Philpott, the law enforcement officer, visited the driver's side door, and the suspect spoke poor English but called his girlfriend to translate by phone. Philpott could see the boxes of high-caliber ammunition in the back seat. The suspect said he bought the ammo in Utah so he and his girlfriend could go to the range for target practice. Philpott asked him, did he own the guns they planned to use? And he said he did not. He did not have firearms, but instead he had some cocaine. When the suspect said he had to use the bathroom, they escorted him in the bathroom. As they got back to the vehicle, he told the state trooper they could open the doors and trunk, but they couldn't go inside the vehicle. So a Carbon County Sheriff's Office deputy brought in a K9 drug dog. It alerted to the presence of drugs. The document says investigators searched more and found 36 boxes, each containing 500 rounds of high-caliber rifle ammunition. How much you want to make a bet? That high-caliber rifle ammunition that they quote is 7.62 by 51, and a misdemeanor amount of suspected cocaine. The troopers arrested him and put him in the back of the patrol car, and also they found large amounts of cash, more misdemeanor amounts of cocaine when they searched him. A tow truck took the vehicle to a secure storage facility, and other law enforcement personnel sealed the vehicle with the ammunition still inside. This is significant. If you take a step back and you look at what was happening in 1 week, you had an illegal alien buying ammunition. Look, can we just pause on this too? What is going on with these ammunition stores in Utah selling large quantities of ammo to illegal aliens, non-residents, non-citizens in Utah? What the hell is going on? Like, how is that acceptable? I go into Walmart and I buy more than a couple boxes and people are asking me questions. It's nobody's business. As an American citizen, I should be able to buy as much ammo as possible, but I know I'm popping up on the radar. You know who's not? Illegal aliens who are buying over 198,000 rounds within a week. I hope it's not the same place. If you know the actual store, if anybody has any information, please comment down below and let us know what that location is. I'd love to talk to them. I'd love to find out, and they're not going to answer the phone and talking to me, but I'd love to figure out, like, what's the deal here? How did that happen? Is that even legal? I know it's not. So how did that happen? So they go from Utah, they're driving through Rollins, and we already showed you where it leads into Pueblo. My buddy KJ hits me up this morning. He's like, hey, you know what's weird? You know El Chapo? You know the head of the Sinaloa cartel? You know where he's based at or where he's imprisoned at for life plus 30 years? In Florence, Colorado. And I'm like, where's Florence? Huh. Wonder how close that is to Cannon City where these guys got rolled up. Well, let's look at it. So we put up Supermax prison, because it is a Supermax prison, and you take a gander and you put in Cannon City where these two illegals were rolled up. Whoa. It's 23 minutes away. 23 minutes away from a Supermax prison and in close proximity to Pueblo, Colorado. As I put this out to my patrons, people are like, there's no way, man. It's a Supermax prison. Well, we do know what happened when they tried to roll up in Mexico, El Chapo's son. They broke out the drones. They broke out the M2s. They broke out the Barrett 50 cal sniper rifles and unleashed hell, saying if you did not release El Chapo's son, we're going to burn the entire place to the ground. So would I put it past the cartel to plan a breakout of a Supermax prison? No. The biggest issue here is you have two significant things that happen. And kudos to the law enforcement officers who rolled them up. But what happens when you're operating in a silo in your community and you roll up somebody who's transporting 18,000 in Rollins, Wyoming, or 180,000 in Cannon City, is you never figure out what the intent was. These guys are talking to third parties who are controlling them, giving them instructions, potentially even dead drops where they don't directly communicate. They get marching orders and are sent off on their own to do the bid. And the cartel is very smart when it comes to covert communications. I'm not saying that any one of these law enforcement situations in Wyoming or in Colorado should have just let them go. But what I'm saying is, one, they ain't giving up the information on their sources, their means, how they're doing what they do. They ain't giving up anything because they know if they do, their entire family's gone. The cartel will wipe out every strand of DNA that exists in their genealogy. So they ain't going to say nothing. So the best case comprehensive strategic scenario here is these organizations are talking to each other. They're trying to figure out, like, hey, where were these guys going? Hey, we tag or track and locate where these vehicles are going so we can find out their bed down. Hey, we get this guy's cell phone number, start tracking it and getting the signal intelligence of how these guys are collaborating. For sure, it is my opinion that both of these guys in the same week that got rolled up were involved in the same operation. Now, the question is, how many people got through? And then what was the final destination? Was it Pueblo? Was it a potential attack on a Supermax prison to break out El Chapo? Was it preparation for an inside attack? This is why I love this type of media and you guys' feedback, because your investigative work is what brought this together. And for a fact, there's fidelity and a correlation between these two events. But what we're starting to see with this type of media is we could put these things together and make sense of it. This report of this Wyoming story is in the cowboystatedaily.com of a Wyoming news channel, which one of my patrons who's from Wyoming ended up sending it to me. If you have any more stories or any more information about these specific things, make sure you comment or join my Patreon. I have a free side of my Patreon, and you can comment on all my stuff, and I stay highly engaged. I'm also reducing the prices on my tier 2 and tier 3 memberships. Guys, this is huge. I hope the federal government is all over this. My fear here, and I'll talk about this in the Underground episode on my Patreon, my fear here is although there is good leadership now installed in cabinet members and directors, there is a problem. What we have is political hacks and activists who are members of these organizations who don't want to see the dots connected to be able to go after this because it hurts their political cause, which only endangers the American population. And when you also look at all of these organizations, they don't have the resources. Already, because of bad politics, these law enforcement agencies don't have the funding and resources they already need to do their basic jobs. You think they have the ability to cooperate and synergize in a task force to be able to go and track down something so big that's right in front of our faces? They might not even know these 2 cases exist because of all the divisiveness that's been created in the system. So what we can do is continue to stay informed, continue to report on these things so you could be prepared. And I'll continue to inform you. Let me know what you think in the comments, what this is about, and the probability of the cartels either doing an inside attack or breaking out El Chapo. I'd love to hear your feedback. All right, I've headed off to the Underground episode of this. Until next time, peace out. Hope you have a good day.